Well, this year sure was down from last year. I didn't get quite as many videos out as I had wanted to, and that's mainly from working a full-time job and working on a house in my spare time, so that's eaten into the whole video making process. But I did get one out though, and that was one of the Dr. Gordboard sets. People loved that one. Loved that one. But 3 sets were released, and it just so happens that 2 sets were released in 2011, which we now know as Smithmas. Back then it was Australian Christmas. I guess now the best way to celebrate Smithmas would be to cover the other set. So that's what I'm gonna do. This holiday season, we're gonna celebrate Smithmas by covering the Dr. Gordboard's Brainiac Pack. Brainiac Pack. Brainiac Pack. I already did that one. That was the first one I did. In April. Huh. Okay, well that's okay. 2 of them released in 2011. Dr. Gordboard's Brainiac Pack and Dr. Gordboard's Moonman Pack! I'm not touching that thing with a 39.5-foot pole! I'd rather play Whatville again than do anything involving that chestnut over an open fire roasting, gingerbread burning son of a bitch! So what about Soldier? To me, Soldier is probably the most interesting class, because he's one of the classes with the most room for improvement when it comes to playing the game and playing it well. Rocket jumping, for instance, allows for a soldier to do so much, but even without it, he can still do extremely well anyway. There's the highly advanced method of bombing, launching rockets and yourself toward a target, closing distance, and decreasing damage fall-off to ensure that rockets do as much damage as humanly possible. His secondaries provide him with some of the most useful abilities in the game. This Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy has got it all in terms of viability. This flexibility, low skill floor, and high skill ceiling is probably what makes him such a popular main and off class for so many people, and what gave him such an omnipresent role in competitive sixes. Particularly, one of the many things he's good at is destroying buildings, and with weapons like the direct hit giving him such a leg up, why the fuck would you want to take that away? The Cow Mangler is kind of a bizarre weapon. A common theme between all of the Gordboard weapons is the decreased damage dealt to buildings. And as I've mentioned, one of Soldier's most notable traits in my eyes is his ability to harass engineers and their buildings from afar. Him and Demo Man share this trait, but Demo Man has the unfortunate downside of having to either wait for his grenades to detonate if he misses, or manually detonating the stickies that he places. This can give engineers ample time to deal with the situation in the way that they best see fit, moving the sentry gun, short-circuiting projectiles, wrangling, and if he's next to a dispenser, he can do all of these things nearly indefinitely, and it can be a real issue. He could do these for Soldier too, but given Soldier has the ability to spam down the engineer from around corners and having his projectiles explode upon impact on any surface, this makes Soldier my go-to for dealing with engineers personally, but mileage may vary. So why, pray tell, would you make doing that infinitely harder? Dealing 20% less damage to buildings is maddening. I mean, look at how long it takes for me to kill this one sentry gun. Now, the Cow Mangler does have one unique trait that no other Gordboard weapon has. A fully charged shot which will disable any building for 4 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not, but if you can coordinate a push around it, it's a sentry gun that can do nothing. And the engineer, if he was close enough to the gun, will also be set on fire. Considering there isn't a nearby engineer waiting to come to his rescue, it should be a piece of cake. The only problem with this is that in order to make that push a reality, you need to have your team be competent enough to capitalize. And in a game called Team Fortress 2, teamwork sure is in short supply. And for a weapon called the Cow Mangler, it sure doesn't have a whole lot to talk about. can't crit, and whenever it would normally crit with something like the crit scree, it'll always mini crit instead. But I'm not sure if that's really worth talking about. The Cow Mangler is famously the subject of an older glitch that would allow for Cow Manglers to be painted, a non-important but notable bullet point in the history of the game. And again, just like with the other weapons in the Dr. Gorbort sets, it doesn't utilize ammo in any traditional way. It's unlimited and is reloaded through the usual process. Now, the soldier does have one other weapon in his Gorbort item set, and it's likely gone down in the minds of many TF2 players as an item of infamy. Not because of its uses or abilities, but the weighted legacy that it tends to carry. The righteous
Whoa, glitch effect green screen, oh no, I'm doing the YouTuber thing of taking over the video, oh no! Alright, let's cut the crap. My name's Indy, and I think you and I need to have an honest heart-to-heart. This show's called How Bad Could It Be? But honestly, after having to use these two ungodly contraptions, I'd argue it's bad enough. You don't need me to tell you that the Bison is terrible. Wait, you're watching a weapon review video, of course you do. Much like a real-life Bison, it's slow, useless, and just shits everywhere. Whilst the shotgun opens up more avenues for soldier in mid and especially close range, the Bison does the opposite. Hitting anything long range is impossible due to the slow projectile, and landing close range shots just makes you wish there was a weapon that could just do the exact same thing, but faster and better. Oh fucking wait.
I don't know, I thought it looked good on the shelf.
No, don't you start getting lippy with me, because the only unique thing about it is the projectile penetration, which, you know, I'm sure hitting multiple people with one shot is something Soldier just cannot do otherwise. Nope, completely impossible. Conclusion? Crap. And don't even get me started on the Cow Mangler. Actually, do get me started, that's the only reason I'm here. When someone calls this technically a direct upgrade, I genuinely want to go Slender mode.
Yes. What was that?
Just like its little pea shooter companion, Cow Mangler just has nothing to set it apart. Let's live in this perfect world where no engineers exist. What benefit does the Cow Mangler give you in that case? If you want more damage per shot, the direct hit outclasses it damage-wise in every way. If you want to deal damage to a wider area, here's a meta-breaking news flash. Shoot more rockets! Instead of having to rely on some gimmick charge shot that does relatively pathetic damage and puts a giant lit up please kill me sign right above you, after going through all the trouble to charge up and shoot your death beam, you will never do enough damage to kill, forcing you to do a follow-up rocket or maybe even a secondary. The Bison would work for this, except as I have hammered into your head, it's fucking slow. These weapons provide no benefits to counteract their gigantic throbbing downsides, and you would honestly get more results running the Liberty launcher. Thanks and goodbye. Thanks for having me on the show, Papa.
You know, at first I thought this whole guest speaking thing was a good idea, but they're always showing up and stealing my thunder. Bunch of pricks. The Righteous Bison isn't notable for its particular usefulness. In fact, the Bison has a plethora of things that make it a not great option. Slow-moving projectiles, I mean, they can go through enemies, but that doesn't really do a whole lot. But the weapon does carry a history of the community, once again, showing its ass. The weapon was changed during Meet Your Match to change the weapon significantly, citing that the Bison's ability to hit multiple targets at a time, and then the community threw a fit. Let me reiterate, this thing never was exceptionally good. It wasn't the Ambassador, it wasn't the Babyface's blaster. This wasn't a good weapon changed to be slightly worse. This thing has always been, in my humble opinion, a piece of shit. But for some ungodly reason, this takes the cake for the weirdest fucking change I have ever seen this community throw a fit over getting reverted. Because why? For what reason? It's not a particularly useful stat. And when it is used, it's used mainly to troll people or as a joke. And to the best of my knowledge, it was that Valve described this as a bug, but an in-game tip called it a feature. It was bizarre all around. Somehow, this dumb little protest worked and Valve reverted it back to a previous design. And again, I can't say this enough, this thing is and probably always has been a piece of shit. I mean, seriously, I've seen the videos. This thing, I can't understand why people like it so much. And apparently, it wasn't even actually fully reverted. I don't know. I don't know shit about the Bison. That other guy already told you about it, so go watch his videos. I'm sure he's got some. All I know is it's a spammy weapon, and people hate that sometimes, except when it's okay, because Arbitrary Andy said it was. Naga's got some notes on the Cow Mangler.
Ammo management is one of the most important skills for a soldier to learn in competitive sixes. With priority for ammo packs often being given to your demo and rockets constantly being used for movement, not to mention scrappy team fights, it isn't uncommon for most soldiers to begin to run low, forcing them to choose their shots wisely. In that regard, the Cow Mangler 5000 is a straight upgrade to stock. Identical damage with no reload speed or clip size penalty, and a very powerful charge shot that can leave a medic effectively dead at range. All of these combine to make a weapon that is effectively the stock rocket launcher with no need for ammo management, allowing soldiers to spam away at chokes in hotly contested areas. Additionally, in the extremely rare situations where you may encounter a sentry, your demo is already better equipped to deal with it, and your sentry disabling charge shot will still be a massive help to your team in a coordinated environment. The only time that the stock rocket launcher or original would be better than the Cow Mangler is when your medic is running sixes. Even then, a medic is more likely to crit a demo, and it's often enough to simply... Fuck, I can't read. Even then, a medic is more likely to crit a demo, and it's often enough to simply have just one of your soldiers switch to stock.
Again, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get more videos out this year, but hey, here's to hoping that next year's a whole lot better, right? Whatever your holiday celebrations are this year, I hope that they are full of merriment and cheer. You're not around forever after all, so make sure all your loved ones know just how much they mean to you this holiday season. I forgot the sweater. I forgot the sweater! Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering where the prerequisite Christmas shot of me pouring the holiday Mountain Dew into the cup is, have you seen this year's? It's fruitcake. It's fruitcake flavored. I'm not drinking that. Psycho.